Welcome to the Inspiration Station hosted by Joshua Lenox, the place to fill up your tank if you're in need of encouragement and motivation.
Hey, everybody. It is Friday, November the 7th. Y'all, November the 7th, we are moving quickly and swiftly and suddenly from day to day. Y'all, I hope that you are having a wonderful Friday so far. So glad that you're stopping by and sticking in some time or sharing some time with me. Because again, y'all, I know this is your favorite time. Y'all have been antsy. You can't wait to get to the day, and I'm so thankful for it. And again, we don't have to tell anybody. We can just keep it between us. I'm your little secret. Well, no, I'm not, because you should just tell everybody about what we're doing here on the Inspiration Station. So ain't no secrets here. But anyway, welcome to the Inspiration Station, y'all. We're going to actually dive right on in. I wanted to do something a little special, different today. I was intending to do something with you guys of actually being completely live, but I got a little tap on my shoulder from the Lord, and I was just like, okay, God. Okay. I think it's also because, now I think I know for sure that He wanted me to do this today, what you're about to see here shortly, because of, again, what is going on in the world right now. And sometimes we are forgetting that we do need people to come alongside us at any point. And if it's not just your family, your friends, or loved ones, a leader, whatever that is, sometimes you might need to go see a therapist, a mental health counselor. And sometimes that can be a taboo situation, but actually, ever since the pandemic, it's actually become widespread. People realize, okay, you know what? I can't keep trying to think I can fix myself or heal myself. And I can't go to people who are biased, who know me, because they might not see deeper into my issues. And I need someone who is not only a professional, but skilled to provide me the tools that I need. So even in what we're seeing right now going on in the world, I can understand why the Lord would move me to do this. And I definitely am going to be obedient, because I'm not going to get in trouble with the Lord. I'm not doing that. I know y'all don't want to get in trouble with the Lord too, right? But again, welcome to the Inspiration Station, y'all. Really quick, if this is your first time, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm so glad that you are going to be retained, and you're going to continue to come, and you're going to be consistent, and you're going to be tuning in, and you're also going to be sharing. Thank you guys for continuing to share as much as you're doing, and seeing. I see the numbers again continuing to increase, and I just say to God be the glory, because again, you never know what you're going to be doing when you start something, but you never know where it's going either. So it's just good to just do it anyway, even if you think you don't have what you need, or that you're not skilled enough to do what you need. We learned that last week, right, class? All right, amen. All right, I think I hear y'all out there saying you understand, and yes, and amen, and all of that. But anyway, hello to everybody on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Instagram Live, LinkedIn Live, also on Spotify, Audible, Amazon, and Apple. Y'all, I'm so glad that I can remember that, because sometimes I want to say other things, and maybe that's because it's an itching in me for other things that are to come. So we shall see. The Inspiration Station is what it's about us. It's not just about this person that you see right here, Joshua Lenox, that's talking to you, talking your ear off and trying to educate you and get you to moving somewhere in your life, but it's about all of us, because each and every one of us are inspirations, not only to others that cross our paths and that are in our lives, but also to ourselves. Please don't sit here and say that you're not an inspiration to yourself, because I will log you out. No, but you are an inspiration to yourself if you just look at your life over the course of your life, or even just this week, where you can see that you have overcome many great things, obstacles, challenges, and still have them, but you're not going to be stopped. Ain't no stopping us now and never. So, again, this is a place where we're also open, honest, and vulnerable, not just with others, but with ourselves. Sometimes the relationship we have with ourselves is often the one that's most neglected. We don't want to be open. We don't want to be real sometimes, because we don't want to face certain things. And sometimes even with other people, it can be difficult if people are not safe places. Because let me tell you something, each and every one of us have issues, struggles, insecurities. I don't like when people say that a person is insecure. I say that they're a person who has insecurities, because each and every one of us have them. But what the world would be like if we could all be clear with one another and allow each other into our spaces to say, hey, I thought you had it all together, but you make me feel a lot more safe to talk to you, because again, I can relate to some of the stuff you're dealing with. I can relate to some of the things that you're going through. So it doesn't make me feel like I'm some black sheep of people, like I'm just a rarity and I'm the only one who has issues and needs to be healed and things. because we all do, and we will all need healing until we take our last breath. Hello, somebody. Also, there will be people popping in very soon, y'all. Bear with me, but we're going to get some people right on back in here to get interviewed that are going to be dropping some nuggets of wisdom, sharing their life stories, allowing us into their intimate spaces as they will be inspiring us to not only hear those wonderful things that they're talking about, but it'll move us to action, just as what we do in here. We're not just sitting here inspiring, encouraging, and just cheerleading and rah, 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 but when you leave, it's going to cause you to make movement in your life. So without further ado, I hope that everyone again is having an amazing Friday thus far, and we'll have a great weekend. Y'all, the time is on. I don't know, extra fast. I don't know. I don't know if I'm the only one. If I'm the only one, let me know. But I'm pretty sure I'm not. But it feels like we're either in Back to the Future or either the Twilight Zone. I mean, you literally wake up and then the day is just zoom, and it's like, okay, time to go to bed. Night, night, good night. So without further ado, y'all, have something special I want you all to take a look at, and I will be back with you as soon as it's over. But what this is something that I was blessed to be a part of with Mount Zion Church in Nashville, Tennessee, under the leadership of Bishop Warren Walker III. I'm gonna say his full name, Bishop Joseph Warren Walker III. And what this is correlated to is Mental Health Monday, which takes place in the month of May, which is Mental Health Awareness Week. If you did not know that, now you know. If you don't know, now you know. But May is the month of mental health awareness. So there are Mental Health Mondays that take place under the leadership and facilitation of Pastor Katina Parrish Clark. And she is a phenomenal, on fire person, which you're going to see in just a minute. I had the privilege and the blessing of being able to be a part of this wonderful segment. It's short, so y'all, I will be back soon. So hold your horses just a little bit. I know y'all wanted me to be live. I'll be right back. Me and you was never apart. But I was blessed to be able to not only sit with Pastor Katina Parrish Clark, but also the wonderful and phenomenal Nicosia Jones, who you'll see soon, and also the wonderful Tony Kelly. If y'all remember, she was on the Inspiration Station back in Mental Health Awareness Week in May of this year. Y'all, that was in May, and here we are in November. I can't believe I'm saying this, but without further ado, I said ado. Lord, y'all, what is wrong? Without further ado, that's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah, we're going to go with it, even if it's not. But now I want to introduce to you the Mental Health Monday, from hesitation to healing, the beginning therapy with ease. From hesitation to healing, beginning therapy with ease. Y'all stay locked in, stay tuned in, and I'll be right back. I promise. I promise. I'll be right back. Bye.
Well, hello, and welcome to our final Mental Health Monday moment. This week's title is From Hesitation to Healing, Beginning Therapy with Ease. All month long, we have covered varied topics, and today we want to tie a bow on them so that if any of our hearers have been out there and you feel like you need counseling or you know someone who needs counseling, we want to make sure that you know every step to take in order to get connected. So we want to take this journey together towards healing. And today we have 3 therapists with us with varied backgrounds and certainly a wealth of knowledge to help us to accomplish this goal. Today we have with us Nicosia Jones Johnson, who's a clinical therapist and CEO and founder of Visions of Wellness. We also have Joshua Lenox, who is a licensed clinical mental health counselor. And finally, we have Tony Kelly, who is a licensed clinical social worker and owner and CEO of Tony Kelly Counseling and Consulting. Thank you all for joining us on today to dive into this topic.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you so much. I know that God has deposited so much inside each and every one of you, and not only your experience, but your expertise can help us to speak to this topic today. So, kind of want to just dive in, right? Y'all ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
So I believe that all of us know in the climate that we're living in now, that the stigma to counseling has somewhat been broken. And so you see more people. I know y'all's books and calendars have been a little more full, and not a bad thing, right? Certainly great that we are experiencing that. But I think we also know that there are others who are out there who could certainly benefit from counseling and or therapy. So let's kind of talk about what are some of the reasons that you feel like people are not making the connection, even though they kind of feel like they could benefit from it. And whoever wants to dive in.
You want to take it first? Okay. Well, I think there are several themes that come to mind. For me, it's misinformation. They don't have all of the proper information to even know what to expect. Also, I think there's really not understanding that God doesn't want you to suffer and that you can be healed, And then I think also fear. I think that people in their childhood, some people have been sworn to secrecy, And so then as adults, they think everything needs to be a secret, And so they're ashamed, And some people, they don't reach out for help. And so those are some of the things that I think.
Sure. I kind of want to piggyback off what you said, Tony, which I think were great points. I think also on the last point you mentioned about fear, I think also it's a fear of the unknown.
Yes.
What am I getting myself into? What does this really mean? And I think also a stigma around that can be, am I going to therapy and does that mean that I'm crazy? Does that mean that something's wrong with me? Does that mean that I'm defected or something of that nature, not knowing that every human being actually should be sitting across from someone who can hold a safe space for them. So I think also just not knowing what's to come through the process creates a level of fear and also resistance.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with all of that.
I think it's also judgment too.
That's good.
Not knowing if they'll be judged, and concerned about here it is this person I don't know, this unfamiliar face or the stranger telling me something about myself. How uncomfortable that space can be for that person. So.
That's good. A lot of times, of course, as I sit in this role as the Associate Pastor of Congregational Care, they'll call the church and almost for confirmation, or affirmation that, it is time for counseling. But then sometimes, even when you recommend that or you say, what, I think it is time at this point, they still sometimes kind of hesitate to make that call and kind of try to wait things out. So here's another question that surfaces from kind of where we already are in the conversation and just things that I've noticed, not being a counselor, but serving in this role. People kind of want to know, how do they assess when there is an actual need for therapy, right? Because people, all of us, we live in a broken world, where chaos is everywhere, so we're going to all have some, trials and things that we have to deal with. But how do you move from, okay, this is normal for me to kind of feel, the way that I'm feeling about things that I'm experiencing, to know this is, the time for me to move from just this to seeking some therapy or some counseling.
If I could chime in really quick, ladies. I think one of the things is recognizing and having a level of self-awareness of knowing something has changed with me and I'm not quite sure where this started. And I might feel also that I'm not capable at the moment to walk this out by myself. So again, knowing that there's someone that's got to have a little bit more level of expertise, because we're all experts of ourselves, but then having someone who is a professional, someone who's licensed, who's been through rigorous training, to come alongside me and say, hey, can you point me in a direction? Because right now, maybe my direction is off with where my life is, and maybe I'm no longer as centered as I was.
Yeah, that makes me instantly think about quality of life.
Yes.
How are my relationships? Am I angry all the time? All of these different things. If your quality of life has diminished in some capacity, it's probably time to go speak to someone.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I think about introspection, right? Being able to take an inner look. And like you mentioned, if there's something you're struggling with, some days, like, every one of us made it here today, right? But there's someone that has a hard time just allowing their feet to hit the floor in the morning. And so if you're noticing things about yourself, because who's the expert on you? Well, we know God is first, but then you, right? And so at that point, you know when things are going awry. And at that point, you should be like, well, maybe I could try this. And that's my thing. I feel like we're salesmen here today. Getting people to buy into the need just to talk to someone. But God created us to be here so you can have that one good person on earth to talk to.
No, I think that's great, and not only, I'll put you guys back in the hot seat. You are the salesman. But, I think it is really healthy. Mount Zion is a diverse church, but a majority of our congregants are African American. So as we know that, that's our demographic, that as people are listening in, we probably have more African American people who are listening in to these Mental Health Monday moments. So seeing faces that look like them and being able to speak to this topic and say it's okay for you to seek counseling, it's completely normal and healthy for you to do that. I think that if y'all are the salesmen, they should be buying. Right?
Yeah, I would venture to say each of us have a therapist.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so we truly believe in it. We talk to someone on a consistent basis. It's important.
Now, if there was anything that was a great marketing tool, Tony, I think you just did it. When the therapist has a therapist, then you know that it is necessary. And it's so true myself, the same, because as much as I deal with people and try to meet their needs, I have to be able to go and pour somewhere so that somebody can meet me at my point of need. I think about this too because when congregants call in, sometimes they're not calling in for themselves. They're calling in for somebody in their family that they have noticed something may be off with them, So talk about how do individuals get loved ones connected? Because I think we all know that as adults, you cannot make anybody go to counseling, but the loved one feels so helpless when they cannot help their loved ones. So can we give people something to hold on to as far as charting out a path to helping the loved one that they know stands in need of something?
I can say I've gotten people to kind of look at possible, sometimes support groups, right? Sometimes we have to start on a small scale. They may not be ready to sit on that couch in the therapist's office, but maybe they'll sit amongst a group and listen. And so that might be helpful. But then I also, speaking to a family member who really know the need for that loved one, I usually tell them, maybe you can kind of say, hey, this would help me, right? Not so much on them, but it would help me. Like, I'm seeing this person. Why don't you join me for that session?
Yeah.
Right? Come have a seat with me, because it would. I love your support, right? And once they hear and they see that it's nothing to really have that fear about, then that might be the buy-in.
Can we tag me? Okay. I think for me, the last point of what you mentioned, I think there's a level of something I call sensitive psychoeducation.
Yes.
So I think if we're going to gravitate to our lovely family members, and also being a tool ourselves.
Absolutely.
But why I say sensitive is because you do not want to present with judgment as we're going to our family members, even if it's someone who's aware of things that they're dealing with or they're not aware. Can I go to them in a soft way in being able to provide? There's something I think that you may, you may benefit from. Can I offer a few things to you? And again, you're completely open if you want to take this on or if not. So I say back to this, being very sensitive and mindful when approaching them, but also giving them some level of education on it and leaving that in their lap.
Yeah, I'm hearing communication and lived experience.
Yes.
Now is not the time to go, I saw this on Google. Like, no, that's what you don't want to present, but you definitely want to say, I think this may help. And here's how it's helping me.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good because I've seen several experiences where people have wanted to, if they could have just, loaded them in the car and taking them to a counseling center or somewhere because, anybody that you love, you want to see them at their best self. But that person also has to be willing. Right?
Yep.
So let's shift gears just a little bit. We want to let's go Bible for a little bit. Y'all all right?
Yes.
Let's go to John 5, where Jesus encountered the man who was laying at the pool of Bethesda. And I believe it was 38 years that he had been laying there. And so, of course, when Jesus approached him, he asked him just one question. Do you want to be made whole? And as quickly as he responded to Jesus and giving Jesus all of these excuses about why he had not been able to get in the pool, Jesus quickly responded, right? Because Jesus is swift. Jesus said, I got to come back, though.
Yeah.
So I got to put the onus back on you. Instead of you making all of these excuses, you got to do something. Sometimes instead of you waiting on me to heal you, you've got to do something in your own right. Take it up on yourself to participate in your own healing. So he said, take up your bed and follow me. So I want to talk about what are the steps that a person can take to put that responsibility on themselves. What should a person do? How do they even begin to choose a counselor? Do they, go on Google? Do they go on the Mount Zion website? Do they contact you guys? But what does it look like for them to choose a counselor? Do they talk to their HR department about a employee assistance program? Just tell us some of the things that could help a person get started if they have decided to make that step to again.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many resources, but again, if you don't know, you don't know. And so there are provider directories like Psychology Today where you can search. There is your EAP through your, job-based insurance plans. There's word of mouth. All of those different things. But I would say the initial step is reaching out to one of those. Or no, not one, several. And I say that because a lot of us as therapists are small business owners. So we're admin, we're billing, and we want to reach out to you. But, reach out to 3 or 5 of those and then schedule a consultation, a 15, 20-minute consultation. And they're going to ask you about your symptoms. And then they're going to say, well, here is how I could approach that. And then from there, if you want to schedule an intake appointment, you could, with them. But if not, if you want to go to the next consultation, do that. But that would be the beginning step, Anything else?
Just to link off of you kind of just did that just wonderfully. But just to add something, like you mentioned with Psychology Today, or things of that nature. But I also say, I almost said phone book, look in the phone book. That does not exist anymore, y'all. But at the same time, I would say look up. You can Google.
Yes, Black therapists. Yes,
Black therapists.
CBT, all of those.
Yes,
things.
or also just looking in. If you want to type in to be just minimal of saying therapists in my area, so that you look locally, because it could be one right around the corner. It could be somewhere right around by your job or anything of that nature. So, and then I would I very much so agree with Tony. You want to find multiple.
Yes.
You might not be locked in one, and again, try maybe 2 or 3 just to get a feel, because you might get locked into one, or you might get locked into another one, but you always have a choice. And I think that's another thing. When you're looking, don't feel like you found one place and then you just pigeonhole to that. You can look for several different places. So I would say that.
Yeah, because those first few sessions, you're assessing best fit. Are we a good fit for each other? And so if you feel like this is not a good fit, then hey, let's find you someone who would be a better fit.
Absolutely. Because your counselor, you can't just close your eyes blindly and just say, okay, I'm going to pick this one here, like pin the tail on the donkey. You want to find a counselor almost like you're looking for a hairstylist. And y'all know we don't let everybody fool with our hair. We want to make sure that counselor fits exactly what we need, that we're very comfortable with them. And again, that we don't mind going and sitting on their couch and knowing that we're going to have our needs met. Right?
Yes.
Go ahead,
I
Joshua.
wanted to tell y'all, I'm about to burst because of what you just said, Pastor Katina, but I think it's like dating. In a sense, if you're going to go with someone on a date for the first time, you get to assess what you need. You might sit down with the date and say, I serve a better God than this, and you might walk out, you might leave. Or you may find someone say, I might give them another chance because I really enjoy it's in a relationship, it's an investment, and it's also you're building an alliance, you're building a bond, you're also working to build trust with somebody. So again, you're opening your life to someone who is a professional, but also can be very much so this is a stranger. So in some way, you're learning I've got to be open, honest, and vulnerable with someone I don't know. So that takes time. Is you have to build that relationship, but you get to choose to say, do I want to remain in this relationship that I'm starting off, or do I feel like I might need to shift gears and go to the next, try someone else?
Self-advocacy. Yes, because we want to educate, equip, and empower. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. It's their right to come in and be able to say, we fit or we don't fit, and that we can honor that as well, because we want to see them get the best support that they need.
We do.
That's good. Y'all have been absolutely wonderful. We have just a couple of more minutes. And I would like for us to close out just by addressing just one last concern. You know, now they've found the counselor. They have gone in. They have received a treatment plan. Right? Everything's laid out, you know, for them to be able to follow. How important is it for them to stick to that treatment plan? Because we know, again, well, let me just stop there because I know you guys are going to address it. How important, what's the impact of them being able to stick to that treatment plan?
I think it's a great impact. I would say in the same way that you would go to your medical doctor, for me, physical health and mental health are parallel. So if you're expected to follow recommendations, right? One of the things that I usually say is, look, I'm in this with you, right? We're going to hold it together. But I am not here for you to dump on for 60 minutes. If you cannot come in and do the work, because it will be work. People don't know therapy is work.
It's a lot of work.
And there will be assignments, and there are things for you to follow up on. And it's just like a doctor giving you a prescription and a plan. It's the same thing for me. So that's how I explain it.
It's an investment. You know, you drove there, or you clicked on the telehealth link, or you paid your copay, or you paid your deductible. It's an investment. And your investment, you want a return on your investment. And so that really is, I tell my clients all the time, 85% of change happens outside. You know, the 15% is what happens on this couch. But that other 85, if you're not putting in that 85, you're not going to get a return on your investment. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna mix both of y'all because we're working together as a team, right? I think from what you were saying too, I gather you have to put yourself in a position as you're being a client that I've got to be self-accountable. And sometimes that can be a tough thing because it's like, wait a minute, this is not all on my therapist. This is about me. When I come out of this room or I come off of this link, it's all on me because my counselor's not with me 24 hours a day, although you might hear our voices in your head at some point, but we're not with you. So I have to hold myself accountable, and maybe that can be tough because you're also dealing with layers of yourself that you're not even knowing about because you're learning about. To table what you said, Tony, I think it's important to realize that when we are just a facilitator. So again, the main work is all on you. And sometimes, you know, you hear your clients say, I wouldn't be where I was without you. And it's like, that's nice. I'm glad that I could stay in this and walk with it, but this is all on you. So, and about being the investment, it's like knowing that this is like a life insurance thing. And this is something that is not just your mental health, but also it's something that's sustaining you and during your life in a way that's taking you to an optimal level that you have not seen before. So I think that that's just important. So that was just,
Thank you.
Perfect. I think that this is a great way to close out this segment. You guys have laid out great information on how to choose a counselor, but also once you choose the counselor and the counselor that you decided to go with has given you a care plan, this is how you follow it so that you can go forward in the healing that God would have you to operate in. Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us for this final segment. And so for those of you who have been listening in and are listening in on today, we thank you for joining us all month long for these Mental Health Monday moments. We are certainly not going to drop you off and leave you here. If you desire to connect with any of the therapists that have spoken to this topic on today, we are going to make sure that their information is put on the screen to make sure that you have some options even on today. And even beyond that, we also have some options on our Mount Zion website, mtzionnashville.org, under the Care tab, and then you would just click on Counseling and Crisis Services. So God bless you on today. God keep you until next time.
Well, welcome back. I am here as I promised. Y'all thought I wasn't coming back. I know some of y'all was like, Josh lying. He not coming back in here. He just going, after this video is over with, he's going to be out and we'll see him next Friday. But I'm back as I promised. Wasn't that amazing? Simply amazing, amazing, amazing. So much education, so much psychoeducation, so much knowledge on the process of what therapy, what mental health counseling looks like, the stigmas we hear about, the fears of it, the things about wanting to start, and how sometimes we just don't know because we don't know, but we know that our people perish from a lack of knowledge. So I hope that each and every one of you have taken so much from that. And if you have a therapist right now, I'm pretty sure you know, or have had a therapist in the past, I'm pretty sure you recognize the gift that is for you to have that space where it's all about you. Because most times, the person who, again, the relationship that is most neglected can be with yourself. And for many of you, I'm sure it's hard for you to be laser focused on yourself because you've always been so driven, thinking about everyone else, focused on everybody else's welfare, being that bridge, being that shoulder, being that ear, always being a leader for everybody, always being the person that people come to, that pour out to. So it's always amazing, and how I watch lives, and I really, it's something that I never really thought that I would be doing until I thought back a little bit, and I was like, you know what? When I was growing up, people always would come to talk to me. I mean, it did strangers, my peers, teachers, leaders, adults. I mean, sometimes my mom would have to be like, hold on, wait a minute. He's a child. Why are you talking to him about this? No, that's inappropriate. But I still would talk to him anyway. But all of my life, there was always this draw to people, and they would tell me their personal things, cry, and I would just be like, why are they telling me these things? But I realized too, just being a counselor is not a career path. It's not just a job. It is a calling. Nobody signs up and says, hey, I want to be a counselor, because it's actually very pastoral, because you're carrying a burden for people. Got to learn self-care and have boundaries, so to make sure you're not carrying everybody's lives with you. I know if I carried all of the lives and the issues and the struggles of my clients and my concerns for them, I'd probably be locked up in a padded room. But I learned you have to learn how to care for your clients and not carry them. Sometimes, though, you do, but most of the time you do carry a burden for your clients and for healing, being a facilitator of healing to other people, many people. So it's not an easy thing, but it's something that I've been graced with, and every therapist, every mental health counselor, they've been graced to do that. And some people have always asked me, I don't see how you do what you do, because I'll be a wreck hearing all the stuff that you hear. And I'm like, well, again, you're a person who is a barber or a cosmetologist or anything like that. You don't see how they stand on their feet all day performing things with someone's hair or over their head, but they've been graced to do that just as much as I've been graced to do this. Just one of the things I can do that God has blessed me with. But it's no joke, but it's also a heart's passion. It's a passion of mine. And I'm just thankful to be able to do that, as well as I know those ladies who you all saw. So if you don't have a therapist, just as you heard in the video, there are certain things that you can be looking for. And I would say too, take your time. You don't have to rush into anything. Sometimes it's hard, especially if you have trust issues, it's hard to go lay out your life to somebody who you don't know. And although they're a professional, if you remember me even saying that in the video, it can be hard, because it's like, yeah, you're a professional, but I don't know you personally. And how do I know you're going to hold hold space for me and make me feel safe in this room. But I would say, please just take some time to let some of this stuff marinate if you don't have a therapist. Or maybe if you had a therapist and you've been thinking about going back, let this be a little push or a little nudge to know that you do deserve to have your own time and your own space to walk things out in your life with someone who's literally coming alongside you to do so, so that you're not alone in that journey. So I hope that each and every one of you were absolutely touched, blessed, educated, and feel led to either move at some point, whether that's now or down the road, or even just thinking about it. That's movement as well, just thinking about it, whether that be something you're open to. And I don't care who you are. And I don't care what background you are, what social status you are. I love it because I love to be able to see people who are highly successful people to people who are right out the hood, whatever you want to say. And so one of my clients always say, I'm from the trailer park, Mr. Josh, but whatever. But being able to see all types of demographics, cultural backgrounds, multi-ethnicities, all of those things come together, and be able to realize one thing, that we're all very much so we have more in common than we think. If we lay down titles, we lay down where we come from, we lay down color, creed, social status, financial status, or anything of that nature, we lay all of that down, we're all very much so more common. We have more in common than you think. And I see that all the time. And I'm thankful for that. When you get to see the person take the mask off, some people you see that are so great and you revere them so much, you have no idea what's under some of that. And sometimes they don't feel safe to go to anybody to be able to make an alliance, build a trust and a bond with, that they don't think that they're going to be dropped or anything like that. So happy Friday once again. I really love each and every one of you, and I hope that you're going to take this and share this as much as you can to whomever. I hope that you have a safe weekend. I will see you right back here at what time on next Friday? Y'all need to speak up. Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 5 p.m. Mountain Time, and 4 p.m. Pacific Time. So I look forward to seeing you right here on the Inspiration Station, where we do what? We upsize in 2025. I don't think I said that earlier. It doesn't matter. I said it now. Y'all already knew that. And always, as I tell you, you've always been great. You're just getting better. You have always been great. You're just getting better. And also, you're finally coming into true knowledge of that and embracing it. So I will see y'all next Friday. Love you much. We need the unity now more than ever. And guess what? We gonna be all right. See y'all later. Bye.
Thanks for watching The Inspiration Station with Joshua Lenox. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.